Perhaps the worst outbreak in modern history was in 1918, when the world suffered through the Great Influenza. John Barry wrote a book with that title. He's live in New Orleans for us tonight. John, the current thinking on this is somewhere between 50 million and 100 million people died globally during that pandemic. Give us a sense of what we've learned from that particular case history.
Well, two things. Number one, I think the most important lesson was to tell the truth. People in authority have to tell the truth if they expect anybody listening to them to do what they're advised to do. That did not happen in 1918. As a result, there was real panic, literally in the streets, and society almost began to break down. In fact, the dean of the University of Michigan Medical School said if this continues for a few more weeks, civilization could easily disappear from the face of the earth. That's how bad it got.
And in that case, I know you spent a lot of time in your book outlining who was dying in comparison to a normal flu season. Tell us about that and how it compares to the morbidity that we're seeing now.
Well, in 1918, one of the signatures of that pandemic was that young adults, probably 2/3 of the deaths were people aged about 18 to 40, 45 years old. Normally, those people are never killed by influenza. Normally, influenza kills the elderly and the very young. Right now, of course, coronavirus is doing largely the same thing, and its victims tend to be people with weakened immune systems or some other disease burden, and the elderly have generally weaker immune systems than a young adult.
Although a lot of attention has been,
sense,
and a lot of attention has been paid to the fact that children seem largely to escape the most serious of these cases. And finally, back in 1918, we didn't have the kind of communications that exist now. How are you assessing what's happening now with other countries, seeing and monitoring the developments in China and then taking action?
Well, I think in a scientific sense, the communication has been outstanding, including from the Chinese, the sharing of information and so forth. Some of the other things at a political level are less than perfect, such as the inability of the American health advisors to get into the country and so forth.